Presenting Jillian Hennessy with the $500 Promontory Heights Elementary Community School Association Scholarship is Haley Lucas. Jillian is also receiving $500 from the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of the Fraser Valley. The presenter is Nikki Dion.
Jordan Goodfellow is the successful candidate for the Promontory Heights Elementary PAC Scholarship in the amount of $500. Christy Cotu is presenting. Jordan is also receiving the Fraser Skies Area Girl Guides Bursary for $500. Again, Christy Cotu is presenting. Heather Elliott is presenting each of the following students with a $1,000 Youth Work in Trades Secondary School Apprenticeship Scholarship. Spencer Breslin, Sarah DeLoca, Ethan Maston, Gabriel Olivares, Curtis Russell, and Brandon Tizard. Would the students from Group 2 please make your way back to your seats? Except we need these students to stay. Lauren Barr, Corbin Bowen, Lauren Campbell, Eva Davey, Davis Hansen, Jillian Hennessy, Jordan Keller, Kiana Kelly, Ethan Maston, Gabriel Olivares, Leah Perovic, Michaela Reed, Curtis Russell, John Steele, Amy Vanderwick, and Lenny Zonta. And would the following students please make your way backstage to the door on your left. Kira Daniels, Caitlin Fedro, Emma Holmes, Curtis Comida, Jaron Lengert, Gabriel Manis, Liam McCormick, Megan McLaughlin, Wyatt Uzick.
Just a reminder, some checks are actually being given out in these envelopes this evening. So students, please make sure that you don't lose track of your envelopes. Or parents, make sure that you get the envelopes from your son or daughter right after the ceremony. Other awards will have to be picked up from their respective donors. Upon meeting the donor on stage, students are receiving an envelope and a certificate to commemorate the award. Included in their package is information on where to pick up your award and when and how to write your thank you letters. I would like to take this moment to publicly thank Mrs. Pam Jones, our career advisor, for all of her hard work in making sure students got their applications in on time, for organizing the sending off of the applications, and for being the liaison between the school and the donors. Thank you.
As our yearbook editor last year, Eva Davey is receiving the Vibrant Photo Scholarship in the amount of $500. Our yearbook teacher, Mrs. Ailey McConnell, is presenting.
Emma Holmes and Caitlin Fedro are each receiving a GW Graham Staff Bursary. These awards are in the amount of $300 each and are being presented by Tammy Chernoff on behalf of all of the staff at GW Graham.
Kira Daniels is receiving the Seroptimist International of Chilliwack bursary in the amount of $1,000. Joan Beldam and Marilyn Vick are presenting.
Lauren Campbell is receiving a UFE Entrance GW Graham Endowment Scholarship in the amount of $2,000. Mrs. Helen Plummer is presenting.
Daryl Martz joins us tonight to present the Rotary Club of Chilliwack Awards. Curtis Russell is receiving the $1,000 Rotary Club of Chilliwack Trades Program Scholarship. Jillian Hennessy and Lauren Barr are each receiving $1,000 for the Rotary Club of Chilliwack scholarships.
Mr. Martz is also presenting the Rotary Club of Chilliwack Leaders of Tomorrow Awards. Jillian is receiving a $1,000 award, Kiana Kelly a $750 award, and Lauren Barr, Lauren Campbell, Jordan Keller, Jaron Langert, and Leah Perovic are all receiving $500 awards.
This year's Kiwanis Club of Chilliwack bursary is awarded to Jillian Hennessy. Rod Scoble is presenting this $1,000 award.
Sheila Scoble is presenting the Kiwanis Club of Sardis Awards this evening. All of these awards are in the amount of $1,000. Jillian Hennessy is receiving the Sardis Kiwanis Club Mel Osborne Youth Scholarship. Lauren Barr is the recipient of the Kiwanis Club of Sardis Frank Bogle Memorial Award. The Kiwanis Club of Sardis Mac McKittrick Memorial Award goes to Davis Hanson. The Kiwanis Club of Sardis Al Bernard Music or Agriculture Award is awarded to Amy Vanderwick.
The following students are each receiving a University of Victoria Entrance Scholarship in the amount of $1,500. Lauren Barr, Davis Hanson, Megan McLaughlin, and Lenny Zonta. Matt Brooks is presenting.
Haley Lucas is presenting Jillian Hennessy and Lenny Zonta with the Chilliwack Fraser Rotary Club Leadership Through Service Award. Each award winner is receiving $2,500.
Jillian is also receiving the John M. Toomer Education Scholarship in the amount of $3,000. Christy Cotu is presenting.
Haley Lucas is presenting Jillian with the Ted Rogers Scholarship Fund Award in the amount of $10,000.
Additionally, Caleb Zimmerman is presenting Jillian with the $3,000 University of the Fraser Valley Excellence Entrance Scholarship.
Stay there. Haley Lucas is presenting Jillian with the $500 Dr. Alex B. Patterson Memorial Scholarship. Now, Curtis Russell and Wyatt Usick are each receiving the Hap Hepner Bursary in the amount of $1,000. Haley Lucas is presenting.
Wyatt is also receiving the Mike Allen Memorial Bursary in the amount of $1,000. Presenting are Dave and Karen Allen.
Jake Mordson is presenting this next group of students with the athletic scholarships they have earned. Lauren Campbell is the recipient of a Fraser Valley Basketball Association scholarship in the amount of $500.
Curtis Comita has also received a Fraser Valley Basketball Association scholarship in the amount of $500.
John Steele is receiving the Thompson Rivers University Athletic Scholarship in basketball.
Ethan Maston is receiving the St. Francis Xavier Athletic Scholarship in football.
The University of Waterloo Athletic Scholarship in football is awarded to Leah McCormick.
Corbin Bowen is receiving the University of Victoria Athletic Scholarship.
Mr. Mortson is also presenting the Jake and Sarah Mortson Bursary in the amount of $500. This year's recipient is Gabriel Manis.
Gabriel is also receiving the BC Boys Basketball Award in the amount of $700.
Gabe is also the recipient of the $32,000 Briarcrest College Athletic Scholarship in basketball.
Gabriel Olivares is the recipient of the University of British Columbia Athletic Scholarship in football in the amount of $3,250.
Receiving the John Tutt Memorial Bursary in the amount of $500 is Michaela Reed.
And for the last award of the evening, Michaela Reed is receiving the Lindenwood University Belleville Athletic Scholarship valued at $102,750.
That brings to a grand total $297,000 in scholarships and bursaries that have been recognized here tonight by the grads of GW Graham. We would also like to note that students are continuing to be awarded other scholarships daily, so that number is still growing.
This ends our scholarship and bursary presentation. We would like to say a special thank you to all of the local organizations who have been so generous in providing these students with money to help continue their education. Congratulations to all the graduates of the class of 2017, and a special congratulations to this year's scholarship and bursary winners. At this time, I would like to call on the grad singers to present a musical selection entitled Go the Distance.
Thank you, grad singers. That was awesome, just saying. I'll now ask Principal Plummer to come and give us the principal's address.
It is a great privilege to speak to you tonight. Officially, you are my first and only graduating class of G.W. Graham. I skipped my university ceremony, and my parents have never forgiven me. Grads, you're doing better than me already. I could not be more proud to give you some words of advice as you head out into the next part of your life. Take good notes over the next 45 minutes or so. It's going to be a long one. Kidding. I'm going to attempt to accomplish 3 things in my speech tonight. 1 is to send out some thank yous on your behalf. 2, to inspire you to be great. And 3, to share with you the secret to success in life. Some thank yous. It is time to ask you, the grads of 2017, to thank a few important people. First, thank you to Mr. Wiseman, Mr. Brooks, Mr. Symington, Mrs. Cotu, the entire office staff, the grad council, the grad parent committee, the many teacher volunteers, and your parents for their hard work in planning and executing all of the activities involved in all things grad, tonight included. I want you to thank your teacher. Yes, let's do that. I want you to thank your teachers for the countless hours they have dedicated to your success at G.W. Graham. As a Graham scholar, musician, actor, artist, tradesperson, athlete, leader, and citizen. To Madame Van Hola, Madame Beeman, and Senora D.C. for creating in you a longing for a cool accent and a love of poutine. To the mad scientists, Mr. Alexander, Mrs. Hagerman, Mr. Symington, and Mr. Cargill for letting you blow stuff up in the name of learning. Please say thank you and farewell to Mr. Keene, who is retiring after 33 years of correcting bad grammar. To Mrs. Aquino and Mrs. Bergeron for making sure you can survive on more than craft dinner. To Mrs. Webster and Mr. Monkman for teaching you that if it's worth anything, it's worth putting to music. To Mrs. Elliott, Mr. Creelman, and Mr. Harder for showing you that measuring twice and cutting once is a real thing. Say thank you to Mrs. Hartfield, Mrs. Chernoff, and Mr. Symington for showing you that there is a world out there that needs your attention. To Mr. Bila, Mr. Millington, and Mr. Burton, who taught you that understanding your past helps you create a better future for all of us. To Mr. Longhurst, who armed you with the knowledge to fight your speeding tickets, and the PE department of Moritzen, Allen, Folke, and Etzel, who convinced you that the Olympics are within your reach, and to Mr. Larson, who taught you how to bandage and splint those Olympic aspirations. I want you to thank our resident web slinger, Mr. Holford, and his colleagues, Mrs. Brandt, Mr. Hagerman, Ms. Neitz, Mr. Sandberg, Mr. Sutter, Mrs. Hooper, Ms. Fair, and Mrs. Baldwin, and a small army of EAs and support staff who remind us every day that it takes a superhero to work in student services. Say thank you to Mrs. Barrow for teaching you to rethink calamari, to Mrs. Dick, Mr. Dybel, and Mrs. Lucas for enthusiastically soldiering on with math, to Mrs. Saggart, Mr. Foltz, Mr. Gertson, Mr. Croucher for inspiring all things artistic, to Mrs. Cho for the animated brain freezes, and to Ms. McConnell for never giving up hoping that you would sign out and read a book for fun. Say thank you to all of those teachers like Mrs. Tour, Ms. Dennett, and Mr. Abraham who provided hangouts for you at lunch and usually asked if you wanted fries with that and then provided them. A huge thank you to all of the middle grade teachers, especially Mrs. Donaldson, Mr. Larson, Mr. Yeomans, and Mrs. Foreman, who ignited the interest, work ethic, taught you how to open your lockers, navigate the stairs, and set the solid foundation for you to be successful in your 6 years at GW Graham. Please thank your counselors, Mrs. Hancock, Mr. Salos, and Mrs. Muscle, for the guidance they have provided throughout your GW school career. Say thank you to Mrs. Jones and Mrs. Turan for hounding you to complete your transitions and blueprint so you could graduate here tonight, and for helping you try to figure out what your future might look like as you changed your minds, sometimes weekly, and tried to get into courses to match your newest and greatest idea. I want you to thank every teacher who inspired you, who made you work harder than you thought possible, who encouraged you, who opened your thinking and supported you in your learning. I want you to take the time to shake their hand and tell them that they made a difference, as this is the ultimate thank you for an educator. It's not 45 minutes, I was kidding. Grads, I want you to say a huge thank you to your parents. This is also a long journey for them. They have listened to you hit snooze a million times, hounded you to get your homework done, driven you to practices and games, lived in constant fear of being the subject of a tweet, a Snapchat, or an Instagram post. They have faked excitement at the news of your new boyfriend or girlfriend and paid for the therapy when the inevitable breakup happened. They have attended parent-teacher interviews even on nights when the Canucks were playing when they used to win. They have signed forms, paid fees, then paid more fees, then written another check for more fees. Your parents have read your essays, finished coloring your posters, have learned to accept fine as a response to how was your day, and nothing as a response to what did you learn today. They have stayed up many late nights until they knew you were home, safe. And in many ways, they share in wearing the gown that adorns you tonight. It is a team effort. Please put your hands together, make eye contact with your parents, and thank them now. My challenge to the grads. Graduating from school is one of the biggest transitions that you will make in your life. When we experience change in our lives, it is often accompanied by emotions like fear, confusion, excitement, elation, more fear, clarity, a little more confusion. In other words, it is discombobulating. It throws us out of our comfort zone, challenges us to rethink our equilibrium and our balance. Just about this time last year, I received a call that I was moving here to be the principal of GW Graham after 5 years at my previous school assignment. At that time, I knew very little about this place and very few people here. I was a little scared. What if they don't get my sense of humor? What if they discover I really have no idea what I'm doing? What if the students think I'm bringing in uniforms and rebel? What am I going to say at my first staff meeting? I started to picture in my head what things might be like. I made up stories about pretend scenarios that I thought would happen. I had weird dreams and kept exploring all of the negative possibilities about transitioning to a new school. This is what our brains do when they face large changes in our life. It doesn't matter if you have every single detail of the next 10 years of your life mapped out, or you have no idea what you are doing next September. Doubt of oneself, fear, and negative nagging will start to creep ever so slowly over your brain. Will I have friends? Am I smart enough to go to university? What if I can't find a job? What if I find a job and I hate it? What if I get a degree and I find out there aren't actually any jobs for people with that degree? Who is going to do my laundry? Am I going to be living at home with my parents when I'm 30? Will I ever see my friends from high school again? Unless you are able to predict the future, why bother making yourself crazy asking questions for which there is no answer? You ask a question like, will I have friends? Not because you are so convinced that you will not meet great people, but because you are fearful that you will be alone. We naturally tend to move towards worry, which is really just making up negative stories about things in the future that we cannot predict. When we begin to understand that the source of our worry is mostly irrational, we can move away from that kind of thinking and into a place of confidence. And you all should be confident. You have come to the end of a complicated and trying adventure. You have met the most difficult challenges, faced many different kinds of pressure, overcome obstacles that could easily have shut you down, and yet here you are tonight to celebrate the successful conclusion to a 13-year journey. If you take away nothing else from your time here, take away this: the confidence and belief that you are prepared to face whatever your future has in store for you. You have resilience, you are resourceful, you are a G.W. Graham graduate. So is this transition you are making scary? Of course it is. I'm here to tell you that it is going to be okay, and you are going to be okay. Don't allow fear to prevent you from trying all of those wonderful opportunities and experiences that are waiting for you. I never would have lip-synced to Mariah Carey and been part of the Christmas line dance if I had not come to G.W. Graham. I wouldn't have participated in the most amazing Take Action Day, heard band concerts from award-winning ensembles, cheered for sports team who played with 110% intensity, watched English classes engage in breakout boxes, math classes intensely reviewing with Jeopardy, history classes building war trenches, witnessed stained glass masterpieces being created, and seen students' artwork that deserve to be framed in a gallery. So imagine what is in store for you. The secret to success. There is a secret that absolutely guarantees your success beyond the hallowed halls of G.W. Graham as you venture out into the adult world, and I'm going to share this with each of you. Mr. Arul Pergassim has stolen a little of my thunder. There are two elements to this secret. The first, be nice. This sounds so simple, but showing people respect, greeting them with a smile, knowing how to shake hands properly, being interested in the lives of others. Treating those around you the way you yourself want to be treated goes a long way in life. The second element is try, and mean it. No fake trying, really try, 100% full-on try. Put in an effort whatever you decide to do after you leave this place. You cannot always control your performance, but you can always make the decision to work hard, put in the time, go the extra mile. And if you do, most of the time you will get the performance that you were looking for. You also don't have to have every detail mapped out, but you need to start. Take a course, put in a resume, make that phone call, set up a meeting. Each time you put yourself out there, it will get a little easier. You need to put one foot in front of the other and begin. So that's it. Be nice and try. We talk a lot at G.W. Graham about character. Our grizzly roars, respect, ownership, attitude for success, responsibility, and safety are pretty good guidelines for life. At the beginning of the year, I challenged you to make G.W. Graham a better place because you were here, being part of the student population, and as grads, you set the tone and you lead. I challenged you to be the Roar's example for the rest of the school as they aspire to sit where you do today as graduates of G.W. Graham. I am proud to stand before you today as your principal, and I have no doubt that you are prepared for whatever adventures come your way. Your new challenge, grads: be the Roars the world needs and inspire others with